Incorporation. The consortium is a global design and finance investment consortium that is driving economic growth across the planet. During the meeting, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni warmly welcomed the group, emphasizing the crucial link between business success and robust infrastructure such as roads, rail, and water system. He also highlighted Uganda's wealth of raw materials, including diverse agricultural products, abundant electricity, and ample capital. Museveni emphasized the country's need for entrepreneurship and capitalize on its abundant resources and favorable weather conditions.
Business means product or service and market. If you have the two, you have business. But the two must be linked by infrastructure. By road, by rail, by water. Now, for the product, you need raw materials, you need energy, electricity, and you need capital money. So, therefore, Uganda has got many of what you need for business. Now Uganda has got raw materials of all types. It has raw materials of agriculture, and now we have electricity, because there was also a problem of electricity. Raw materials, electricity. So what we lack is capital and entrepreneurship. People who have got spectacles to see business. But then you can go for forest products. Forests, you know these trees here, they grow very easily here. Plant life is very, very active. Plant life, forests, crops, pasture, everything grows very fast. So some of those businesses you are proposing are very good here, like coffee, adding value to coffee, roasting coffee here, very good. Textiles, very good, like because cotton grows very well. Fruit processing, dairy, beef, all those are possible. Then you have minerals like marble. Talking of marble, we have a big marble in the northeast, big marble deposit there in Karamoja. Granite, a lot of granite here for the roads here. You can even for local roads. Then petroleum, we have petroleum also, and gas. So that's on the side of the raw materials to produce products. Now, coming to the market, the internal market of Uganda is 46 million people here. Then East Africa is 300 million people. Then COMESA, Egypt is a member of COMESA. That's about 500 million or something people. Then the African CFTA, Continental Free Trade Area, the market of the whole of Africa. So once you invest here, you have that huge market, those markets, the internal, the regional, the continental. But we also have market arrangements with Europe. So therefore, I'm very happy to welcome you here.
Uganda, as we produce for our brothers here and even the others in Egypt who's coming, has a very big opportunity to be invested in, especially now in value addition, which now Your Excellency and the government work in that one. We have a lot, like coffee. We export a lot of containers of coffee now to Egypt. Before, I think 10 years back, it was Vietnam and Indonesia. But now we, as African, if we start to look, we have a lot to get, at least to balance the matter of economy-wise.
Za Asimwe, Gntv, at 12.
Report. And then another news, the President of Uganda, His Excellency Museveni Tubhabura, through the Vice President Major Jessica Alupo, applauded the business community for the exhibition for economic transformation among all East African Community Forum. The Vice President Major Jessica Alupo said all this while in the Non-Aligned Movement Summit at Spikuzo's Munenyo. We have more.
On behalf of the government of Uganda and on my own behalf, allow me to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed business community. This summit demonstrates Uganda's commitment to private sector development and a renewed focus to increase the promotion of Uganda's abundant investment potential. Additionally, it strengthens the partnership between the Uganda business community and foreign investors. The business community and investors of the East African member states should seize this opportunity to collaborate with foreign investors in order to optimize value addition, expand partnerships that enhance technology, skills transfer, financing, promote standards, and further deepen access to the global market. Our philosophy is to provide a one-stop center to investors across all government services, ease the government business environment, and reduce the cost of doing business in Uganda. This service is available at Uganda Investment Authority. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are discussing a very topical subject, the future of East African regional trade and investment relations with the NAM and G77 plus China member states. Trade and investment are the bedrock for economic relations between economies, and thus a strong foundation for mutual prosperity. It is this tool that enables countries to create wealth and thus drive development. In his treatise entitled The Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith emphasized the importance of specialization and exchange. Exchange is mutually beneficial, and this is well demonstrated by the double thank you at the marketplace. Often, when we conclude an exchange of goods and services, both parties say, "Thank you." That's symbolic of the mutual benefit, cooperation and interdependency that trade creates. We genuinely thank each other for having made each of us better off. We must work harder to harness trade and investment among Africans and our close allies. The African continent is full of natural resources which offer the potential for prosperity. With technology and innovation, these resources should be used to produce high-value goods that we are currently importing from the Western countries and the Far East. This would also increase intra-Africa trade from 14.4% of total African exports to at least 50%, thus transforming the lives of our populations at a much faster pace. Ladies and gentlemen, with support from our comrades in the non-aligned member states, this transformation is within our reach. In the early 1990s, South-South trade surpassed North-North trade for the first time. And today, 35% of global trade is accounted for by the South-South merchandise trade, and just 25% by North-North. South-South trade has enabled technology transfer and therefore transforming the manufacturing landscape in Africa. Why invest in Uganda? Ladies and gentlemen, coming home, Uganda's $50 billion economy enjoys market linkages within the $305 billion East African Community economy, the fastest growing and most diversified economic bloc on the African continent. Secondly, Uganda is centrally located, providing access to the regional markets of the East African Community. The common market of the East and Southern Africa, COMESA, and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area with over 55 member states. The African Continental Free Trade Area created a market of 1.4 billion consumers, making it an ideal partner for trade and investment. Therefore, the agreement on the African Continental Free Trade Area will increase trade among Africans by about 33% and boost investment in Africa. Although starting from a very low base, Uganda has maintained a relatively stable and robust economic growth rate over the years, and at an average of about 6.2% in the past 37 years. Uganda's GDP per capita now stands at $1,100. That is fast rising and thus promising a sustainable market for local production and fast-moving consumer goods and services, making the country highly rewarding for foreign direct investment. On account of prudent macroeconomic management, Uganda continues to enjoy a stable macroeconomic environment characterized by low inflation, now at 2.6%, stable currency, and high sustained growth. Uganda's economic outlook is very optimistic. This is mainly because of the consistent support to the private sector through supportive policies that create a business-friendly environment. Uganda is part of the East African Community, which has a population of over 300 million, with a combined GDP of $305 billion. This offers a large market for exports within the region and a growing middle class. Uganda is a bilateral economy. Uganda is a liberal economy with open trade policies and a liberal investment regime, and all sectors are open for investment. The country allows free movement of exports and imports and free movement of capital with unrestricted transfer of dividends. High return on investment, for example, agribusinesses, unlike many other jurisdictions, is very profitable here, with an average return on investment of about 14%. Ladies and gentlemen, the current heavy investment in infrastructure is lowering the cost of doing business, especially in transportation and energy, and creating business competitiveness. Favorable middle-term economic growth prospects of at least 7% per annum, supported by infrastructure development, skilled labor force, and abundant natural resources. Uganda is a resource-rich country which provides a significant opportunity for exports and light manufacturing. This includes oil and gas, with commercial production scheduled to start in 2025.
Your Excellencies, the ambassadors, distinguished investors, both foreign and local, ladies and gentlemen, I will cut short the protocol. All of you, I recognize you in your various capacities. Let me extend a warm welcome to the esteemed investor community for participating in the East African Trade and Investment Forum. I also salute and congratulate His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda for hosting the Trade and Investment Summit on the sidelines of the 19th Non-Alignment Movement and the G77, including China. Despite several shocks that have stretched global economic flows, including the COVID-19 pandemic, the war in Ukraine, floods caused by environmental constraints, Uganda has managed to navigate through these economic headwinds. I want to correct somebody here who said that this economy of Uganda, which I superintend on, will next year be moving at 6%. No, it will be moving at 6.4 points. I thought I should make that clarification. The steady leadership of His Excellency the President has kept the economy resilient with low inflation rates and the increasing investment flows in the areas of agriculture, value addition, manufacturing, ICT, oil and gas, tourism and services. Our distinguished investors, the government has undertaken significant reforms to streamline processes, reduce bureaucratic hurdles, and improve the general improve the general environment. Our goal is to make it easier to for investors to set up and operate businesses in Uganda. The Uganda Investment Authority's one-stop center is a testament to this commitment. It serves as a single point of contact for all investment-related approvals, cutting through the red tape and ensuring a swift and efficient set process for investors. It is designated to facilitate a seamless experience for investors, providing a range of services under one roof. Whether it's a company's registration, tax permits, environmental impact assessments, or work permits, our dedicated team at the One Stop Center is here to assist you at every step to set up in Uganda. This approach not only saves valuable time, but also reduces the cost of doing business, making Uganda an attractive destination for your investments. In order to assist investors, Uganda has also made several strides to improve the general business environment. These include streamlined tax procedures, improved infrastructure, specifically electricity, and development of human resource. Our commitment to good governance, transparency, and the rule of law ensures a stable and a predictive business environment. Furthermore, Uganda's strategic location at the crossroads of East and Central Africa presents it as a gateway to a market of over 500 million people, and as a result of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Uganda will benefit from growing middle class and increased consumer demand. These factors offer several opportunities for profitable investment. Our distinguished investors, because of these efforts, Uganda has the past year won the following awards. Let me also blow my own trumpet. I repeat this. Number 1, happiest country in the East African region, and this is being said by Happiest Index Score over 2022. The Ugandan economy is growing. You know, one time I think I was at a press conference or something, and I said, it's moving like this. The only problem, COVID came. And when it came, the plane started descending. But I want to tell you now, it is rising again. That's why when somebody here talked about that in next year we shall be growing at 5 points, I said, no, I will correct that one. It will be growing, other facts remaining constant, it will be growing at 6.4. In conclusion, I extend a warm invitation to all the investors to explore the vast potential that Uganda offers. You know, God gave this part of the world with beautiful things which are not easily found anywhere. I will talk about weather. Just weather. Here in Kampala, it moves from the temperatures. It moves from 18, 19, 20, and then when the sun opens up, it goes to 24. When the sun goes down, it comes down again to 18, 20. From January to January. For us, we don't know winter, although we have snow, by the way, up the mountains. But in the lowlands, we don't know winter, we don't know summer. It is in there all the year around. It's a beautiful country. I'm not blowing up out my trumpet, but those of you who are doubting Thomas's, you come and take a sample. Stay here for 2-3 weeks, you will see.
In Uganda, under the United Forces of Change, announced that tomorrow, Thursday, they will protest and stage riot in front of the non-allied movement summit guests against poor road state in the capital city of Kampala. These opposition leaders had met with the journalists at head offices of Forum for Democratic Change, Katonga faction. Let's take a look.
The United Forces of Change yesterday announced that tomorrow, Thursday, they will protest against the poor state of roads in the city Kampala. This, they say, it is part of the series of activities they have launched to display the discontent in the country. This was revealed during a press conference at FDC's Katonga faction offices. It was organized by the Forum for Democratic Change FDC, People's Progressive Party PPP, National Unity Platform NUP, Democratic Party DP, Alliance for National Transformation and the Uganda People's Congress UPC. In a statement read out by the anti-national mobilizer Kiza, the United Forces of Change leaders said that the crisis in the country has continued to worsen, including abduction, illegal arrests, and extrajudicial killings that have never been investigated. Kiza explained that they want to portray the deplorable state of roads because the dignitaries participating in the non-aligned movement and the G77 plus China summits will not be allowed to access the roads. She urged supporters to plant bananas and trees in every pothole on the road. Kiza further said that they will also hold joint national prayer tours across the country, starting in Iganga on Monday next week, before proceeding to Lila on Tuesday.
It is important to emphasize that this is not an electoral platform, but a struggle platform, bringing together citizens of all persuasions. We shall announce the specific activities from time to time, beginning with this Thursday. This Thursday, we would like to announce to the public that you are all aware of the dire situation we are in terms of infrastructure. Everywhere you go in the city, our roads are impassable. We have potholes that can qualify to be lakes. We can even do fishing in our roads. We are announcing to the nation that wherever there is a pothole in the roads that you are using, on Thursday, the Forces of Change, together with all citizens of Uganda, let us do something. Let us show the world that enough is enough. And that while we use roads that are detrimental to our health and are affecting our mobility, the guests are only allowed to use the better part of the roads that we have in the country at our expense. We are to pay for the roads, because those roads, majority of them are constructed on loans. These loans, it's the Ugandans that will pay them. We need to do this so that the visitors can know that while they are using the better roads, the citizens who will pay those taxes are using bad roads. So wherever you are, get a banana plant, put it into a pothole, get fish, take care of the fish in the ditches, go get mayuni, plant, and so we can also beautify our potholes in another style. We shall be conserving our environment. So we call upon the citizens of Uganda on Thursday. It is going to be the first activity that we are taking once again in addition to this. Then on Monday, we shall be having joint prayers in Iganga, and then on Tuesday, we shall again be having joint prayers in Lira. We call upon all Ugandans to join us. While some activities will be carried out jointly, individual entities will also proceed with their own activities as long as they are intended to achieve our common objective and mission. Fellow country women and men, as you will recall, on the 22nd of August 2022, the Forces of Change converged at Hotel Africana and addressed the nation on the political, economical, and social crisis in our country. We also announced our joint commitment to working together in pursuing the freedom of our people. Since then, we have worked together on different activities with the objective of weakening and eventually bringing an end to the reign of terror that has characterized our nation for close to 4 decades. It is without doubt, ladies and gentlemen, that from the time we addressed the nation in 2022, the crisis in our country has continued to worsen. The regime has continued to undermine and violate citizens' rights with impunity. Many Ugandans continue to be abducted, tortured, or held under illegal detention. Extrajudicial killing that are never investigated have continued to take place. The trial of political activists in military courts has continued. The right to property continues to be grossly undermined, epitomized by massive land grabbing. The economy is in a dire state. Poverty levels have increased. Commodity prices have gone up. Our people continue to die of poverty, hunger in different parts of the country. The abounding opportunities in this country notwithstanding. The quality of public service has been steadily deteriorating, mostly health care and education. On account of shadow works and unvetted corruption, public infrastructure in many parts of the country has given way. Many roads in our country are impassable. While this is happening, General Museveni, his family and a few cronies continue to live large at the expense of the taxpayers. They continue to borrow billions of shillings to facilitate that expenditure. Loans which the poor people of Uganda will have to pay back for many years. This crisis is aggravated by General Museveni's blatant disregard for the democratic rights of the people of Uganda. His recent appointment of openly NRM cadres to the Electoral Commission speaks of his and his family's intention to hold on to power illegally at all costs. Therefore, fellow citizens, the united forces of change would like to call upon the people of Uganda to rise up and assert their will. No dictator, I repeat, however strong, can win over popular sovereignty. A people united can never be defeated. Our part as pro-democracy political leaders, we shall expand our effort to engage the population through different activities and in different places across the country, with a view of galvanizing the population to assert themselves. However, this work will not be done by political leaders only. It will be done by all citizens who love this country. We call upon the religious and traditional leaders, members of the academia, members of the business community, men and women in uniform, members of professional and workers' associations, and all Ugandans to rise to the occasion and demand that this crisis comes to the end. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you, and once again, greetings from the Alliance for National Transformation. You are all welcome.
Dza Asimwe, GNTV at 12.
Thank you, Dza, for that report. And then another news, the Member of Parliament representing the people of Nakaseke, Honorable Tamagzi Semakula, has warned Robert Chagulanyi on contesting for presidency 2026 in the general elections, saying that as long as Justice Simon Byamukama still leads the Electoral Commission, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tobhabura will rule our country. Our reporter Dza has more.
Soka chinkubye nchukwe ki abasajja bano tebajoga wabula balumya bulumya. Nali sisuubira bakadda b'NRM bonna betumanyi nga n'eggwanga libamanyi nti be bagenda okuleeta mukadde kano ng'ate tusaba electoral reforms. Kati we twasaba constitutional reforms, electoral reforms zaalina okubeeramu. Weewaawo ne Minisita Mao yatugaa tewaliwo ssente. Tubadde tusuubira nti okukyusa mu constitutional reforms kyekirina okusooka okulondebwa kw'abantu. Kubanga teri muntu ali sseeni oba omuntu ategeera asobola okukkiriza bakaada b'NRM betumanyi n'ennamba zaabwe nga gyeziri bajje bakondakitinga okulonda kw'eggwanga. Era ffe abamu bwe twalaba babalonze twali tusuubira nti babalonze genda kukola ku kitebe ky'NRM. Naye olw'okuba nti n'abantu bulijjo batera okutugamba mukozeewo ki, ffe tukyakkiriza nti teri asobola kkiriza kaada w'NRM kujja kukulira akakiiko ka ggwanga ka byakulonda. Era omuntu wano kubaka bwa palamenti tusobola okuwatanyawatanyaako n'oyita, naye omuntu yenna agenda okwesimbawo ku kifo ky'obwa pulezidenti nakkiriza bakaada b'NRM. Nze kambabulyeko bamubadde temubamanyi, Oweekitiibwa Honorable Kasule oyo ayambala n'ekisaati ky'NRM misana mulaba, oyo abadde former MP ng'ate ali ku kaadi y'NRM. Oweekitiibwa Okero oyo abadde MP ku tiketi y'NRM. Oweekitiibwa Honorable Tasobya naye abadde MP ku tiketi y'NRM. Waliwo n'oli omusajja gwe bukulya bayita Simba, oyo mbadde mulaba nga yasomesa emisomo gy'NRM ekyankwanzi, oyo gwe bajje Makerere. Noono omukyalo omulala gwe baataddewo naye kaada w'NRM. So kati sisuubira nti kaada b'NRM bwe bagenda okutegeka okulonda naddala ku presidential level, omuntu yenna agenda okwesimba okuba pulezidenti nga akkiriza bakaada b'NRM bamutegekera okulonda ajja kuba the celebrated fool of the 21st century. Ekyo tetukirumamu. Omuntu yenna agenda okwesimbawo ku kifo ky'obwa pulezidenti nakkiriza kaada b'NRM bamutegekera okulonda nga tubadde tusaba reforms wano ne batugamba nti tewaliwo ssente. Obutabeerawo ssente kitegeeza nti tetusobola kukyusa kakiiko, kubanga twasaba akakiiko k'ebyokulonda kabeere independent practically, si kuteekawo buteesi kigambo nti kali independent. Era nabadde sisuubira nti leader of opposition atuula ku kakiiko ka appointments committee n'ababaka b'opposition. Sisuubirayo mubaka w'opposition agenze kuvetinga b'NRM. Sisuubirayo, kino nkyogera ng'omubaka wa parliament, sisuubirayo mubaka w'opposition kabe leader of opposition agenze kuvetinga b'NRM bajje bakulira akakiiko k'ebyokulonda. Bwe baba bagenze, then abantu ba bulijjo bajja kubanga batukuba amayinja bajja kuba batuufu. Naye era nkisuubira nti newakubadde nti bazze wano si enkomeredde, tukyalinda amaloboozi agava mu bantu. Are we fools enough to accept NRM cadres to be in charge of national elections? Will those elections be free and fair? We've known the sides of these former members of parliament, including the other cadre who is teaching in Makerere University. So if we accept them to be in charge of national elections, we shouldn't blame the public. They will come and castigate, especially we members of parliament. I don't expect any member of opposition to go and vet these NRM cadres to be in charge of electoral commission, because you would have had different voices if they are from different different organs of life. We wouldn't care. But we know most of these people have been here in parliament singing NRM songs. Even some of them were party when we are changing the constitution, when we are removing age limit, they were party. So if we accept them, then we will be the celebrated fools of the 21st century. And we shouldn't blame any person who will come and blame with the opposition that we are just here for positions, but we don't want change. Because I don't expect these people even to have stepped here in parliament. When we heard that their names being read, we thought that they are going to be in charge of NRM elections. But they cannot be allowed. Despite the fact that we have some of our colleagues who are not seeing what is happening, a few of us will not allow it. We have so many avenues we shall use to ensure that these people will not sit in those offices. Previously, we saw what Justice Byamukama did. And we have gone through, we lost so many people because of him. Because you remember there are so many of our colleagues who went outside there demonstrating against the results which electoral commission read, especially presidential, and we lost so many of them. And you can't tell us that at the same time it's the same person who has been brought back on board. We don't have many Ugandans who are educated to the levels of Justice Byamukama to the extent that we can only stick on one person who claims to be from the justice corners, yet is just the opposite of what he claims to be.
All right.
That's my
Are you going to protest in the same election they are going to organize?
I'm a member of parliament. A member of parliament can, can circumvent all means. But the presidential level is what matters most. In Uganda, we say, yes, these are minor positions. Parliament is a minor position compared to the presidential. So for us, we can find ways how we can manipulate the situation despite the challenges that might be there. But what matters most among all those positions is the presidential one. So for us, we can participate, maybe, I'm not very sure, and we may not. But what matters most among all those positions we contest in politics is the position of president. Because the president determines everything, including lives of Ugandans, including peace. So if for you, I know you are just looking at the parliamentary position because you are going to tell me that now it is the same people who announced you when you stood in 2021. Yeah, they did. But I'm not looking at the position of parliament. I'm looking at the position of a president. Because when you're a president, you determine almost all aspects of a country. I told you that I don't expect any member from the opposition to go and vet an NRM card that will be in charge of a national election. And that we will try to see who convinced them. Even if we have democracy, there is no any way we can come out and start crying to the public that some of our colleagues vetted the NRM card as to be in charge of the national elections, of which results are always predetermined by the cadres. The same cadre who predetermined the 2021 election can be the same cadre, is going to be the same cadre who predetermined the 2026 election. Because you remember, results were read to the public before even the internet was on. So how can I be assured that this same person has already changed his mind? It's still the same person. So we cannot allow the same people who are in the same positions to be in charge of the same elections.
Thank you.
The end of our today's bulletin, and our dear viewers of Gntv, thanks for being part of us from the time we started to the time we are coming to the end of our today's bulletin. I'm ALLIAN ATUBANDIIZE, Gntv at 12, and up next is a lunch hour service at King of Kings Church here in Kamukuzi. Please come and attend, and more is to come. Stay tuned.